One big change in Thrones of Decay that I haven't talked too much about was change to missile attacks, which have multiple projectiles, actually having much better spread. This applies to a bunch of different things, including notably magic missiles like Shem's Burning Gaze, for example, or, the Greenskins, both of the Greenskins magic missiles, to be honest, are multi-model kind of magic missiles. One unit that I didn't even realize had multiple projectiles because they all fired in the same place are the Bloodrack Medusae, which do have five shots per volley, which now actually do spread, as you can see here, firing into these Ungor herds. Yeah, one single volley from both of them is able to do an absolutely insane amount of damage. So Bloodracks, I didn't even realize, but they actually got a huge buff from this. A lot of other abilities, Gaze and a Gash, other type abilities. Things like supposedly organ guns and Hellblaster volley guns should be even better now, again, in theory. But it's definitely an interesting change. Bloodracks, of course, also do have anti-large and AP in melee. Not the best stats. They're pretty squishy, to be honest. Pretty low HP. And, not a lot of armor and melee defense, but still anti-large and melee, so they can kind of hold their own against certain things. Marathi here for Rider of Rohan, and some Bleak Swords and Dread Spears through the back. We've got some Dark Riders as well for some Cav and Mass. Looks like Raven's Heralds. And that's going to be pretty much it for the Dark Elves. As for the Beastmen here, Pigmen coming in hot with some Centaurs of Siege obligatory and regular Centaurs as well. He's also got some throwing axes, and then in the back, a Doom Bull with a Bray Shaman. Whole mess of Ungor herds, spears, and hand weapons mixed with some Ungor Raiders to back them up. So immediately we're going to see the Charybdis come forward, and Marathi, along with the AoE damage from the double Medusae, they're going to be able to just break up this Beastman advance immediately, start to do massive damage to the Ungor Raiders. Again, the Ungor Raiders are quite threatening to the Medusae themselves because they're low armor, so definitely a high priority target that they're going to want to try and take out. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that nice little kind of machine gun shot. I believe they always had multiple projectiles, but they just fired like in one clump, basically, so it could do good single target damage, but was pretty poor against like infantry and other type targets. But you can see much better now. We do see a really nice Traderkin here in the front line, though. That's going to do great single target damage. Does hit both the Medusae, Charybdis, Marathi, all the single entities here. You can see immediately the Bray Shaman just getting crumped as Rider of Rohan realizes the threat of him is just going to jump in melee with everything. Charybdis also anti-large here. There are a lot of anti-large monsters. Now 3v1 versus the Doom Bull, which is not great. He does have some fire support from the Centaurs, and these other Centaurs charging through, trying to get into melee to support as well. Just has some Spearmen alive, so both players kind of throwing in lots of resources into this fight here as the Doom Bull tries to tank it. But he's done a pretty good job, honestly, of tanking it right now. It also affords the Ungor Raiders plenty of opportunity to fire in, get some value against the Charybdis. It's also dazed as well, lower melee defense. Of course, that dazed contact effect, one of the best in the game, in my opinion. You see the Bray Shaman get a little cheeky charge in there, try and finish the Charybdis off. But resources being used on the Charybdis is fine because the two Bloodrack Medusae are doing just fine. Murderous Prowess pops off right as they engage on the Doom Bull with their anti-large. They're going to get a nice melee attack buff as well. Be able to get more consistent hits through his decent melee defense. Well, only 38 actually, not that high, up to 70 melee attack on the Siren of the Red Ruin here with Murderous Prowess active. Of course, Murderous Prowess also does increase armor-piercing missile damage, so that gaze attack gets even scarier as they do have that active. And let's see, Raven's Heralds here in the sky. Looks like going to be focusing the Doom Bull. Probably, yeah, both the Medusae switching over there as well as the cavalry and infantry. Just kind of try and hold as best they can. Honestly, doing a decent job of it so far. Zoning these Centaurs and other units from being able to affect the single entity fight too much. A little Milkos mystifying miasma there just to slow down the Shaman. Kind of try and control his movements a little bit. I don't know, might have been misclicked. It's definitely possible. But Doom Bull trying to surround himself with bodies to protect against the gaze. Guess might as well take advantage of the slow on the Bray Shaman to just try and finish him off. He does pop another Overcast Traderkin, but that actually does do some pretty severe miscast damage. Just about enough to finish him off. Doesn't quite shatter there, but pretty close. The Raven's Heralds might be able to finish him off. They're able to fly over and continue fighting, but instead it looks like they're going to drop here. We see that Whale of Malice, the Regiment of Renown ability from the Siren. Doesn't do an insane amount of damage. It's probably good for about 1,000 damage, you know, max, which is a pretty good amount, I should say. It's not insane, but if you can hit multiple units with it, as in this situation in the late game blob, certainly can be very useful. And if you take a look at the value here, Siren of the Red Ruin up to 187 kills, almost 2,000 damage value. So, like, I think with this tracking sort of scattershot change, Medusa actually are going to be good. Like, not even a meme. You actually can use them pretty consistently in a lot of different matchups, I think. Even, you know, as cheap as they are for a monster, relatively speaking, it seems like they can pay back the cost pretty easily, especially if you have to face some kind of elite infantry. Or, yeah, I mean, the cavalry performance there, I didn't get a chance to highlight it too much. There were a few instances of them shooting into the Centaurs where they did a pretty decent job as well. I haven't tested too much against, like, heavy cavalry, how the penetration is, but even still, if they can just scatter that shot around and kill, like, 5 models, you know, on each volley, that's pretty good, honestly. So, yeah, seems solid overall for the Blood Racks here. The other one, again, the value's not too insane. I don't think they're going to be absolutely game-breaking, but definitely viable, if not even meta, maybe, in some matchups. I could definitely see them assisting in a number of ways. Not that armored infantry were super big problem for Dark Elves, but it's always nice to have a good toolkit. Their sort of hybrid utility as well, being able to fight monsters, means they have some good use case scenarios, some different matchups, like, I don't know, maybe even like Lizardmen, for example, right? They can help support against enemy monsters and monstrous infantry, and then also have the tools to deal with enemy infantry, and I would imagine that attack does enough damage, maybe even counts as artillery, just to, like, cut through, like, missile resistance of chameleons, for example. Not that you'd want to be taking that trade directly, but still, you could kind of run in, throw a volley, run back, try and screen. I don't know. Definitely interesting, but I'll have to use them a little bit myself and see. The Cryptis and the Hydra both are just failbots right now. They're definitely big distraction pieces, but they don't really do much damage. So, yeah, they're just kind of there, to be honest. The rest of the build actually does perform pretty decently. Nice cost kind of spread all the way around, although Morathi doesn't really get too much value herself. Ray Shaman feasts with some Traderkin, definitely insanely strong spell. Carries the Beastmen in many ways, but still wasn't quite enough to carry them fully to the win here. Centaurs ended up just having a little bit too many problems operating against this this build, and credit to Ryder Rohan for breaking up the infantry advance, using that scatter shot, and then using both Medusa and melee pretty aggressively. So fun stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you next time.